Hello guys, it happens that today in this episode we are going to be dealing with variables, identifiers and expressions. So basically what are variables? A variable is a container in Python. So it's kind of like a container where objects are located. For example, in this block of code here, so this animal in line 6 of this code, the animal is a container. It's a container that is also known as a variable. Now in Python, it's a dynamically typed language. So let me show you what that means. So first of all, I need to clear this junk. So we need to cut it out, and then we have a fresh start. So basically, in Python, our variables, as I said earlier, the variables they are containers. So for example, if we have a variable a equals 23. So let me clear that so you can see. So a equals 23. So if we decide to print a to the screen now using the function print, so let's print a to the screen. So actually, I don't know why this is not visible. I need to reduce this keyboard. So print. So we want to print a. So always remember that Python is case sensitive. So here we go. Um, okay. So print a. Okay, there's a mistake right here. So if we execute this block of code, you will get that you get 23. So anytime you print a variable, you will get the data that variable is defined as. So a is defined as 23, and when you print a, you get 23. So that's what it means. So that is variables, and that's basically the assignment. So the last episode we dealt with assignment, right? So when we are assigning this kind of stuff, we this is how it works. So next, let's talk about if I happen to change a in Python, you can redefine a variable as many times as you want. Let's define a as a string. This is 23. So this is another way of talking about it. And then let's print in the next line. We print. Okay, I guess you can see it now. Print a. So here we have this block of code. So okay, rather this was supposed to be on a new line. Yes. So in the first line, a is defined as 23 and we printed a. In the third line, a is defined as this is 23. So let's print it to see. Okay. We have print is not defined. Okay, then I have an error here. So as I mentioned earlier, Python is case sensitive. So this is supposed to be small, is lowercase p. So let's execute that. So I guess that will be corrected. So and then this is 23. Can you see? So that is the new assignment. So it's the result is dependent on the new assignment, which is the string. This is 23. So if we change a again to something else and we decide to print, it will not take the original value, to take the new value. So always understand that about these variables. Now these variables, there are different types of variables. So for example, if we decide to print to know for you to know the type of a variable, you click print and then print type of a. So this is, let me explain this code. This code block in essence, what we're trying to do here is we're basically trying to in this line 5. So I guess this needs to be okay. Yes, in this line 5, what we have here is we are trying to print the type of A. So in this code here, we're trying to print the type of A here, and this print type A is going to print the type of variable. So there are different types of variables. So let's see one of them in the product here. So this is class string. So the Python will print the type of variable that we have there. So that means this A is actually a string. So if we changed A, assuming we change this to B now, if we change this to B, so we define this as B now. So in conceptual terms, we are actually we are basically changing the box where this belongs to in conceptual terms. So print A. So this should be A. So I've distinguished the first. So in essence, what I've done here is that I've distinguished the first one in line 1. We are defining B as 23, and then when we print B, it will give us 23. In line 3, we are defining A as this is 23 string. Then when we print A to give us this is 23, then we'll print the type of A, and then let's print the type of B, the data type that B belongs to. So C use that same syntax code, print type B. So we're going to know what data type it belongs to. Let's execute that. So you can see in the first case the variable A is of type string, is of, let's call it its class, rather class string, and then the variable B is of class int. Now int stands for integer. So that is telling us that we can also print a comment. So as I mentioned earlier in 2 episodes ago, we asserted that the comment is preceded by hashtag. So let's tell our um, readers that, so any other developer that is trying to debug this code will know that type of, or let's call it class, we call them class in Python, class of A is, so is a string, then so that is a line comment, and class of B is integer. Now if we wanted to make a comment that spans more than one line, we'll make use of triple quotes. So 1, 2, and 3. So that has become a comment, so I can write any. So I'll just, as usual, I'll type gibberish, and then the comment continues till you close it with another triple quotes, 1, 2, 3. And then when you execute that code, none of those texts will appear in the you can see there's nothing like those gibberish I typed. So and a comment in this particular IDE, in this editor, a comment is represented by green. So any text in this code you see in green is a comment. So that is basically another expression. Comments are kind of expression too, just like variables and all the rest. They all have their different classes of expressions. So moving on, we have so that was for variables. Now we don't. It's not just strings and integers we have. We also have lists. We have lists. We have dictionaries. We have arrays. For example, if we were to express something as a list, so let's say C equals so in a list you make use of square brackets. This square brackets. So A comma B comma C comma D comma E comma F. So hopefully we'll be dealing with this in a subsequent episode, but I'm trying to prove to you that this is a list. So if we decide to print the type of C, so it will tell us what type of class C belongs to. Let's print that. Let's execute that. Then you have, okay, name. So we have an error actually. So in line 30, so let's see. So we actually have an error. there. The reason is probably because each of these elements of this list, they are not defined. I guess let's try it. But this is actually a list. So let's instead use strings. This, string this, then string that, and then string, okay, that, and then string those. So these are the collection of determinants, and then string this and these. So this is a list containing the determinants. So in the line 12, we still have the same type of code, but to print the type of C, let's execute that and see how it goes. So that means this is class list. So you can see that I was actually right when I was telling you that this is the class of list. So we also have arrays. So we don't have there are arrays, there are dictionaries. So arrays and lists. Arrays are surrounded by curly brackets, by round brackets rather. Then your dictionaries are surrounded by the contents of your dictionaries are surrounded by curly brackets, all for the sets. We also have set data type in Python. So Python has a lot of classes of variables. So there are different classes of variables to deal with in Python. But that's that for variables. Let's talk about something else. So when we talk about we've talked about assignments. Yes, we'll talk about assignments. We've talked about variables. Now for expressions, we have different expressions. So that was we've talked about the expression for comments. Yes, we can also make use of different expressions. So for example, we can try to print. So this is a special kind of expression that prints the length, print len c. So you can print the length of a list. So let's execute that code look. So and then that's 4. So what that means is that this c, this list of c, it consists of 4 elements. So that's length. So actually this length is a function on its own. So examples of functions, we have examples of inbuilt function in Python. So this is examples of inbuilt functions in Python. Okay, that was supposed to in Python. So yeah, we are trying to show. So you will notice that when I write on the next line, it's no longer a comment. But if I wanted to make use of in a multi-line comment, I would make use of triple quotes. So we have different types of inbuilt comments, inbuilt functions in Python, like the print statement. So that prints something on the screen. So we have print. Print is an inbuilt function. So I can just attach a string. This is going to print it. So but in this case, let's print a part of the list. So if I wanted to print a part of the list, you remember earlier we were told that the list consists of 4 elements, right? So now I want to print the um the third element of that list. So all I need to do is I'll get the name of the list, which is C, print C, and then I will make use of square brackets, and then I would define the index of the elements of the list I want to print. So that's the third element, right? So let's see what it does. So this is these. So actually this is not the third element, it's actually the fourth element. So why do you think it's printed out the fourth element instead of the third element? So you can pause this video to think, but then this is the solution. Actually in Python and most programming languages, the indexes start from 0. So that means this first element of the list is has an index of 0, the second has an index of 1, the third has an index of 2, and the fourth has an index of 3. So if we were to access the third element, we would need an index of 2, not 3. So that's the error made in this code. So I'll correct that. So instead of 3, we are trying to index 2. So then let's execute it. So now it's going to give us the third element, which is those. So as you can see, that's correctly the third element. So that is one thing to understand in list when you are indexing a list, and indeed not just a list, when you are indexing an arrays, dictionaries, and sets in Python. Your indexes starts from 0, just 1. So we also have the length function, inbuilt function. We can get the length of something. So you can also calculate the length of C. But then you have to define this as something. So this length of C is an object. It has not been defined by anything. So let's say length length equals length of length C. So we can now say print. We use, so actually this Python, these functions, you use them with each other. So now we are printing the variable length. So any error in spelling will not give me the correct answer. So let's execute that. So I should be expecting 4 or an error. So let's see how that goes. So fortunately we don't have an error, we have 4, which is correct. So that is different expressions in Python. So basically, as I mentioned earlier, Python's variables are dynamically typed, so it automatically gives us the class of the type of the element. That's what we've covered today. We've covered the different classes and types of elements. Yeah, we've covered variables, we've covered different inbuilt functions, and so on and so forth. And we've talked about the comments. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode. And if you have, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.